Hey everybody, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about yesterday's Fed meeting and particularly the lack of an interest rate hike, the first in the last 8 meetings. The big news, of course, is that there was no rate hike for June. This was pretty much expected. The vast majority of people saw this coming. Traders were pricing it in, markets were pricing it in, so on and so forth. But what does this mean? What's going to happen in the future? Let's find out. So our current rate is sitting at around 5 to 5.25%, as it has been for the last month and a half. The biggest reason that this was done is to placate the stock market. The market is currently sitting on salt and sand. It is barely being held up by, the Fed and other entities. Things are looking bleak in general. If rates go any higher, which they likely will, you are going to see the markets react to that in a negative way. How long can they keep holding it up like this? It's hard to say. This could go on for another 6 months. It could go on for another couple of years. Just keep that in mind. The other interesting things that came out is that they do see rates going higher. The Fed saying that there's likely going to be 2 more rate increases this year. So if there are any of you still holding out for rate cuts, I don't know who you would be, because that's just not going to happen. We are not going to see rate cuts this year. Just not going to happen. The people saying, November, December, we're going to see rate cuts, have no idea what they're talking about. We see that the officials do see that rates could be going to as high as 5.6, with some officials seeing as high as 6%. I think 6% would be the lowest they could possibly go, and if they were there, they would have to stay there probably for a decade to get things even slightly under control. I see 7 to 8% far more likely, and 9 to 10% a very much a possibility. Another thing is that they did give revised forecasts for next year. We're seeing rates falling by 100 basis points to around 4.5%, which is higher than 4.3 forecast in March. These numbers will also increase come the next time there's a rate hike. They're going to say this is going to be closer to 5%, and then eventually it's going to be, there aren't going to be any rate hikes. Rate cuts next year. Just keep that in mind. This is all just, lip service to the markets, to traders, to the average everyday person who doesn't really know what they're reading. We are going to have these high interest rates, or I should say normal interest rates, high in the recent past, but normal in the overall scheme of things, for at least the next 2 to 3 years, probably longer than that. A generation has grown up with 0% interest rates and don't realize that cannot be sustained. These rates are going to stay high. So what does that mean for you? How are things going to keep going, or get better, get worse? Your savings accounts, your money market accounts, your money market funds, those are all probably going to stay about where they are. Savings accounts might see a slight increase, since they do generally lag behind the Fed funds rate by a good percentage point. So we might see another, quarter to a half a point increase in savings accounts over the next month and a half. Might not, might just stay the same. Your money market funds are going to stay right where they are until there's another rate increase, sitting right around 5 to, 5.1, 5.2%. As far as your actual credit goes, also probably going to stay right around where it is. Your mortgages, your auto loans might tick up a little bit. Definitely not going to go down, but there shouldn't be that much of a change. The big thing is going to be the next meeting, which is scheduled for the end of July, I believe. Where we are very likely going to see another quarter point increase. It would be nice if they would rip the Band-Aid off and do, half, 3/4, full point, but that's just not going to happen. It is very likely that we will see a July increase. They'll probably pause again after that, and then another quarter point increase in, I believe it will be November at that point, October, one of the two. But yeah, they're going to keep doing this very slowly. They cannot rip the bandage off, because all of the blood will pour out of the markets the moment that they do. Just keep that in mind when you're thinking about where to store your money, taking out loans, if you want to put money in the market. Just note that they're trying to keep this artificial market inflation up. It's just not going to happen. Prices are still too high. Prices are still increasing. We all know that. We can see it in the store when we go there. Gas prices still haven't come down. They're still well over $3 a gallon across the country. Food is still expensive. Materials are still expensive. Until we actually see rates up near 10%, and the Fed shrink its balance sheet, these things aren't going to go away anytime soon. We are in this for the long haul. Expect more speed bumps like this lack of rate increase along the way. Things are going to be tough. Be smart with your money. Put it where it should be in this kind of environment. That's going to do it for this video. Hopefully we'll have another one coming out in about 6 weeks when this happens again. Until then, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.